You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 22nd day of February, 2024. What time flies, right? Hey, and that means Thursday, members only workshop tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Please, members, have your questions ready. And to the rest of you, thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the trading day. First broadcast is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. This broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Now, the live training room, as I said, that's reserved for members only, those taking their 1-week free trial. If you've not taken your 1-week free trial, do so today. No credit card required. Go to mytradingiq.com, and at the top of the page it says 5-day free trial, no credit card required. Click the link, fill out the registration form, make sure you fill it out properly so that when you submit it, we actually get it. And that way, we can get your indicators indicating, get your desktop all set up, and then tomorrow, that's when your trial will actually begin. Now, you might think, well, gee, that's no good. It's the end of the week. I'll only get 1 day. Not true. You'll get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it overlaps a weekend. So there's a bonus built into that because we get you set up today and you have your first day in the live training room tomorrow. Then you have the entire weekend to get familiar with the indicator set and all of the resources that are available to our lifetime members. And then you get your other 4 days next week. So, all in all, it's a pretty good deal. Turn a 5-day trial into a 7-day trial if you take action today. Follow? Great. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break, then come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which again is open to the public, everybody, everywhere. There's a couple different ways to join the afternoon broadcast live. Right now, we're simulcasting, if you will. We're streaming live on our YouTube channel and on our platform. So, the best way to join the afternoon broadcast, go back to mytradingiq.com, and this time scroll down the page to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link. There you'll be faced with about a 30-second registration form. Fill that out and you're done. What will happen is every trading day going forward, get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and that will automatically log you into our platform. Benefit of that is you have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you'd still like to join live. You can. And there'll be days when you're busy and you just can't join live, but you do want to get caught up later. You can do that too. It's called our YouTube channel. And it's pretty easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. Already got the YouTube part memorized, so just remember CFRN. That's all you need. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,400 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And for those who are new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but how we've evolved over the years. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 3 years, even more, and just pick a few days at random. Listen in a little bit. Fast forward, listen in a little more. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast. youtube.com/CFRN. So with our daily devotional and a word of prayer, as we do every day, and the topic we've been on for about a week now, not what I signed up for. Our scripture today is Ephesians 1, verses 3 through 6. And I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. How blessed is God, and what a blessing He is. He's the Father of our Master, Jesus Christ, and takes up the high places of blessings in Him. Long before He laid down earth's foundations, He had us in mind, had settled on us as the focus of His love, to be made whole and holy by His love. Long, long ago, He decided to adopt us into His family through Jesus Christ. What pleasure He took in planning this. He wanted us to enter into the celebration of His lavish gift giving by the hand of His beloved Son. Again, Ephesians 1, verses 3 through 6. Now, you've probably heard the term, stay in your lane. Sometimes that has to do with traffic and driving, and sometimes it's just a reminder to stay in your place. Okay. Now, if we go back a few hundred years in this country, that has some pretty, or actually, you only have to go back to the 50s or 60s, and that had some pretty negative connotations. But today, I want to encourage you to stay in your redemptive story. God is doing a new thing in you. He's not plugging you into an old formula or repeating what he's already done in the lives of others. Instead, he's fashioning a unique masterpiece of redemption using the pieces of your story. However, it can be challenging to see God's handiwork or want to stay in the story when you're right in the middle of it. Perhaps you're wondering how God could do something so great that your pain becomes purposeful? Is that possible? Practice zooming out and trying to see your current season in the context of your whole life. Name the things that feel hard today and hand them over to God. Remind yourself that you can make choices each day to embrace God's redemption in your life. Consider the possibility that God may have more in store for your life because of your challenging seasons. He promises to bless you, not with earthly success, but with every spiritual blessing in Christ. It's Ephesians 1:3. Although you may not have signed up for the struggles in your life, God is redeeming them and you within the big story of His love. His promises are steady, His goodness is sure, and He offers you His presence regardless of the season. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful today for your grace, and we trust that you have a good ending planned for our story. Although we don't always feel hopeful, we choose to reaffirm our hope in you and the future you have for us. It's in Jesus' name, believe and pray. Everybody said, Amen. And happy Thursday. Almost the weekend again. Huh. Well, we had the Fed minutes yesterday, as you know. And the very thing I said I don't think is going to happen actually happened. Remember, the actual Fed announcement knocked the markets down. And then when we found out what was really said, markets rallied on that. Now, if you've been around the markets for any length of time, maybe a decade or more, you know that in the past, good news would send the markets higher. Bad news would send the markets lower. But that's no longer true. It's a crapshoot. Good news can tank the market. Bad news can rally it to the rafters. So you got to stay flexible, got to stay nimble, got to be on your toes, and ultimately you got to trade what's in front of you, no matter what your thoughts are. You can think all day that it should go down, but if it's going up, you probably better be buying. And vice versa. As I said yesterday, this is not a prediction, just an observation. So am I rattled by that today? No, not at all. I've seen it happen far too many times. And so have you. You just have a gut instinct of what the market's about to do. And so you take action before the market takes action, then the market does the exact opposite thing. You're like, how's that even possible? How is it possible that I can always pick the exact point where the market's going to reverse and go in the other direction? Well, that's a big story for a different day, but take the trial and we'll give you at least a rudimentary understanding of that. So on this post-Fed Minutes Thursday, let me give you the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the US with the cash markets or the indices. Right now, the Dow is up 264 points. The NASDAQ is up 379. For the NQ, that's 2.5%. S&P 500 is up 82. That's almost 1.75%. The Russell 2000 is lagging this potential head fake. Now it's positive. It's up 14 points, and there's nothing shabby about that. That's 0.75%. But not really. No, it's keeping pace with the Dow. But the S&P and the NQ are kind of runaway trains at the moment. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei gained 836 points. That's 2.25%. The Shanghai rose 37. That's 1.25%. The Hang Seng gained 239 points, 1.5%. And in the European markets, at the close, FTSE up 21, the DAX up 252, 1.5%. The CAC up 99, which for the CAC is over 1.25%. It hasn't been too often lately that we've had movers and shakers in the European markets. That's anything above 1%. That's what I call it. That's why I came up with the term. Whenever there's a 1% gain or loss, consider that a mover or shaker. And well, today the European market suddenly has some. So in Asia, we ended up with a green day. In the European markets, it was a green day. And it was a green day, or it is a green day so far here in the US of A. And with those strong numbers I just gave you, I don't suspect we'll see it change course before the close. But remember what I said, stay nimble. Could this be the last head fake for the implosion? I don't know. I just know that this whole market is rallying on the backs of about 7 stocks. How long can they hold the world up on their shoulders? Well, eventually Atlas is going to shrug. Then the houses of cards will come tumbling down. Not a doomsday prophet. In fact, I usually have a very positive outlook. But when I see all the things that are going on in the world, something, I sense something orchestrated here. So, don't want to start any conspiracy theories, so just leave it at that. Green day in Asia, green day in the UK, green day in the US of A. Now, let's look at Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. It's not just the E-minis, it's also crude and gold and silver and euro bonds. We are currently in week 290. over the last 290 weeks, we've issued over 16,100 individual handcrafted alerts. We've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out on a weekly basis based on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our lifetime members in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, we did have a holiday on Monday, so we typically go to work Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. And there's a Monday holiday, and boy, it seems like there's been a lot of them. We're only in February. I guess the reason this seems that way is because Christmas and New Year's fell on a Sunday, right? Creating the Monday holiday. I think that's how it went. So that's why it seems like we've had so many. But anyway, because we took the holiday Monday, now futures markets were open, but the stock markets were closed. And when the U.S. stock markets are closed, there's usually some pretty flat action in the futures. So again, we took the holiday. So our calculations began this week, Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, as opposed to Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Since the markets opened Monday night, we've issued a whopping 18 alerts. Now, there's been a lot of weeks because all of our records, all those 16,100 plus alerts, they're part of the public record, okay? You can go back and see that on many Sunday nights, we had more alerts on Sunday night than we've had so far this week, the entire week. 18 alerts issued, still waiting on the outcome of 3. 15 actionable alerts, which 3 or 8% would have been stopped out based on market structure and that very simple process we teach all of our lifetime members. Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Since there were 3 waiting, there may have been some changes and any additional alerts that might go out today, although I'm not too crazy about this market, so don't know if there will be. What I do want to remind you is that the purpose of the alerts is to help you become self-sufficient. If you want to learn how to trade for a living, that won't happen waiting for somebody else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. You have to learn that yourself. And that's the whole purpose of our live training room, our members-only workshops, mentoring sessions. The whole thing is to help you become self-sufficient. In order to do that, you've got to show up, got to do the work, got to learn, and then the clouds part. And you hear that hallelujah chorus. And then you get stopped out and go, oh man, back to the drawing board. Stop. Getting stopped out is as much a part of trading as breathing is a part of life. So when you spend all your time and energy trying to figure out how to not get stopped out, guess what happens more often than not on the trades you take? You get stopped out because your focus is in the wrong place. People who do trade for a living, they don't waste time, energy, treasure trying to figure out some way to never get stopped out. They look for opportunity. And when opportunity presents itself with a proper risk-reward ratio, I don't like using that term because one of them is a known integer, the risk side. The reward side is completely unknown. So the fact that people have built businesses off that saying, it's handwritten books and health seminars. It's kind of silly. Think about it. You know how much you're going to risk. You're hoping you're going to get this much reward. I hope I didn't take the air out of the room with that, but it's the truth of the matter. So anyway, on this slow, quiet, sideways week, we're kind of rolling as we roll. Just the numbers are smaller, and that has to do with market structure. Now, yesterday we did get a kickstart with the release of the Fed minutes, and there's been some movement today. I just don't know if I'm quite ready to buy into it. So let me give you also the concierge trade alerts. They're a little bit different than the logic alerts. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 24/7. Futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. So a logic alert could come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. as opportunity presents itself. And the logic alerts have an entry price, an initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day. And then they'll often have 2, 3, 4 more additional targets, and then a final trade to target. If the logic alert is a short trade, then the final trade to target will always be the weekly trading zone below. If it's a long trade, the final trade to target will always be the weekly trading zone above. The CTAs are posted as a static report shortly after the Globex open each evening. Last couple days, been running a little late. 6:30 is usually the average, sometimes 6:15, sometimes 6:10. I was on a streak there for a while where I hit 6:05, I think, a couple times. Somewhere back there, but that doesn't matter because that's not today. This is today, Thursday, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you come from the world of equities, you're accustomed to the Thursday session starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern when Wall Street opens. But those who trade futures know that the Thursday session actually begins Wednesday night here in the U.S. at 6 p.m. Eastern. It will continue to be the Thursday session until 5 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. Equities, stocks will stop trading at 4 p.m. Eastern. Futures will continue to trade until 5 p.m. Eastern. Then there'll be an hour break. And then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, the markets will reopen, and that's the beginning of the Friday session, even though it's still Thursday night here in the U.S. So, when this report is published each evening, and again, it's usually published earlier than that, but sometimes life happens. First thing you want to do is go to the 30-minute charts of the markets you actually trade. Make note of where price is at the time the report came out. It's always going to be between these two numbers. Once you've made a note on your 30-minute chart where price was at the time of the report, draw a line in the sand at the long target, draw a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. BBC just stands for bull, bear, cross. It's the green line you'll see on my charts, all of them. Stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and anticipate lower prices. From a daily chart to a 1-minute chart to a tick chart to a range chart, stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, doesn't matter. If price moves above that green line, we anticipate higher prices until price moves below the green line. Then we anticipate lower prices. Now, your expectations are always relative to whatever time frame you're looking at. Okay, look at the daily chart in a minute, and then we'll go to the 30-minute charts. With the CTAs, you get to look left yourself to spot potential obstacles to the trade. Remember, on the logic alerts, I give you those, but with the CTAs, you're learning to spot them yourself. That's part of helping you become self-sufficient, so that hopefully someday you can trade for a living. You'll also learn over time how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That's important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, till they close Friday afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern, if price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the weekly trading zone above. If it's below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the weekly zone below. We've published the zones for our members every week since December 14th of 2009. They come out Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, unless Monday's a holiday, and they come out Tuesday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. Beyond that, just resist the urge to make it more complicated. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Now, because this broadcast is open to the public, unless you're a member or trial member, you didn't get these targets last night. So if you want to grab a screenshot, you can. If you're watching after the fact on our YouTube channel, just hit pause on the video, jot down whatever numbers are important to you, because before the broadcast ends, we'll walk through each one of these individual markets. Okay? Got it? Beautiful. Okay. So let's have a peek at the daily chart, where we have big news. We got a new all-time historic high today. So what does that mean? That means we got to come over here. First, you got to click this. Light up those little boxes, right? Let's just see what the high is so far. 50, 83.75. So now we got to try and get this as close to that as we can. Yeah, it's tough. It shouldn't be so tough. 50, 83.75. So we're 3 ticks above it. Okay, you can't even see that on the daily chart, but it's close enough. 3 more ticks, and it will be. Yep, 3 more ticks, and it will be spot on. Previous swing high was right here on February 12th. New all-time historic high. And then we did what we, in fact, on the day that we put this in, February 12th, if you go back and listen to that day's broadcast on YouTube, said, well, what typically happens when we put in a new all-time historic high is we get a retracement to the BBC. And we didn't. Now the pullback to the BBC, this is the green line I was talking about. You can see that the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Last week, we had drawn in this window of opportunity, which filled beautifully. And then today, or yesterday, we came down and touched what we've been talking about, the daily BBC and the 38% fib extension. I said yesterday, those were both at support ×2 in that area. The next area of support below that would be this low right here, put in on February 13th. Okay. Now, obstacles overhead, of course, high of the day. Then we've got the 62% fib extension, and then the 100. A 100% fib extension means this leg here, point-wise, just got duplicated. The lines you see that stretch all the way across the page of the screen, those are your fib retracements. Using the same 14th century math a little differently. And that's the beauty of math. It's not worried about politics. It's not worried about Capitol Hill. It is simply math. Math never lies. The golden ratio was discovered back in the 14th century. And you can study all you want on the internet. You've all, I'm sure, at some point in your life, seen the Fibonacci spiral. It's in everything. From your DNA, to a pretty woman's face, a flower. It's everywhere. It's the fabric of the universe. And so mathematicians, for smarter than I, or a mathematician, came up with what's called the golden ratio. So while I encourage you to study it to satisfy your curiosity, I want to caution you that attempting to use fibs as a standalone trading strategy, well, that's pretty risky business. I know a whole lot of people who tried, and every one of them failed. Okay? I put it on the daily chart just as a point of reference as to where we are in the life of a leg. Leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace. See, that's how the market moves in legs. Leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg. Now, while the pullback holds more often than not, whether it's pulling from below or above, eventually it's going to trade through, as it did here on November 2nd. Okay? Now, you probably don't trade the daily chart. You may not even trade the S&P, but that's okay. The point of showing you the daily chart each day is to encourage you to spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever it is you do trade before you begin your trading session. Institutional traders, the ones who actually move price, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Has to do with account size. They can weather a much larger drawdown than you or I, and they can stay in a profitable position for days, weeks, months. By looking at the daily chart before you start trading, you get an idea which way the wind is blowing. Now, I know there's somebody out there who's very clever and they go, oh, well, I should be shorting the market right now because we've gone up so much. That's faulty thinking. Right now, the institutional traders are doing what? What have they been doing the whole session? Buying. They blew through red and falling. They blew through the 50% fib extension. That would be like stepping in front of a freight train. Now, could that be the high of the day right there, right now? Yeah. But you need some kind of sign, some kind of indication that, in fact, the institutional buyers are done buying and are ready to hit the pause button, or if they're going to keep the pedal to the metal. So again, whatever you trade, doesn't matter. Just spend 2 minutes with your daily chart. All right, all the alerts, logic, and CTAs are based off the 30-minute chart. Vertical line separates today, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Back over here was Monday. We were closed. Now, price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support. When price rallies up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance. Here we came in just a point of the zone, and it sent price all the way back down. And we bounced. We got to this zone. We actually sliced through this zone. Now the zone is 50.25/26. So when we ran out of steam here, we retraced just a tiny bit back to the zone we sliced through, continued in the direction of the slice. So we had a strong move to the upside. Obviously, we hit the long target. Never any reason to think about the short target. Up we go to the zone, consolidate, and we get a leg and a retracement. A leg and a retracement. A leg right at the zone. And then we retrace all the way back to the BVC. And we consolidate. Now we're attempting the highest zone of the week. Only 3 things happen at a zone. 70% of the time, consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. When price slices through a zone like it's not even there on the 30-minute chart, it will typically retrace back to the zone it sliced through and then continue in the direction of the slice. On the Dow, here's where we opened, and we ran right up to the long target. Remember, price moves in legs, so we had a big leg and a retracement. Then the market opened last night, ran right up to the long target. Leg, retracement, and we get a leg. This is a big leg here. This is off the London Open, okay? Ran out of steam. Come back to the BVC. The pullback holds more often than not. So we go back to the zone where we consolidate for a few hours. And we make it up to this zone. We overshot it. That was the 9:30 opening candle, typically the largest candle of the day. We retraced. Didn't quite make it all the way back to the BVC, so that shows us that there is bullishness in the marketplace. And where are we now? Consolidating at the zone, 38,980/985. On the Russell, here's where we opened last night, and right up to the long target. Leg, retrace, consolidate at the zone, hit the target again. Now we ran up here. See this bearish cross right above where price went? Okay. That shows weakness in the market, and I told you the Russell was the only one I was really concerned with today amidst all this bullish movement. So we retrace back to the BVC in the weekly trading zone, take a run at the target, then we get below the BVC, and we're coming down pretty good until we run into the previous bullish cross. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. A bearish cross that leads to an extended move, first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. So we come down to the area where we would anticipate support based upon that concept. And we do some wide-ranging consolidation. Now we're back above the long target. Here's the high of the session for the Russell. So this is going to be kind of make or break. 2024 is the next zone overhead. And then we got a whole lot of zones above that. Okay. In fact, this was the second to lowest weekly zone. The lowest zone is 48.49. On the NQ, here's where we open. Price ran right to the target. Consolidated at the zone 70% of the time. Continued the march up to the next zone where we found resistance. Sent us back almost to the BBC. But again, markets are very bullish, so we go back to the zone, do some wide-ranging consolidation. Now price is trying to wind its way up to the next zone. That's how price moves from zone to zone to zone. We're back down to the zone. Okay. All right, on crude oil, here's where we open. Pull back to the zone in the BBC. Got a bounce. Goes almost to the target. Plenty of room to get your goal for the day. It only takes 10 ticks. Pull back to the BBC. Pull back held. Bounced us right up to the long target. Then price got below the BBC. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling. We dropped right to the target, to the tick. We even actually dropped. This candle opened red and continued down to the zone, which is 77.20/25. So we hit the zone, found support. That bounced us back up through the zone. And now what are we doing? We are consolidating at the zone 78.80/85. We will pick up with gold when I come back. Right now, Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. Then we'll go live on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. Then we'll complete that recap and wrap it up with our good word for the day.
All right. Here we go.
All right, looks good.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 22nd day. It's 2/22/24. It's the 22nd day of February 2024. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you'd like to take a free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There is no credit card required for the trial. That will bring you to this page right here. Just fill out this little form, give us your name, email, phone number if you want to. Down here in the bottom, if you have TradingView, give us your TradingView login ID. We're going to put NinjaTrader back on there so we can get your machine ID too, so we'll set you up for NinjaTrader as well. Give us all that stuff, and you get all the information you need to get into the room in the morning. Okay, that's all you have to do. Click on this purple button. No credit card required. Click on the purple button and give us the information, and we'll get you going. Now, this spreadsheet goes back over 10 years. It's got our daily data going back over 10 years, and we fill it out 3 times a day. In the morning when we get the goal for the day, when we start the lesson plan, and at the end of the morning session. So today, we ended the morning session. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, I gotta say this. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. I have to say that every day. Today, as I said, is the 22nd day of February 2024, and we've made 22 ticks on the NQ, 17 ticks on the Russell, 15 ticks in gold, and 5 ticks on the ES. That put us at 407.50 on the morning session. Today I took 36 minutes and 7 trades to get to $1,400 a contract, and I took a total of 15 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're up $4,722. That is over 15 trading days, averaging $314 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, we're at $14,310. That is with one contract again, over 36 trading days, averaging $397 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now, in here, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, and you started off this year with 13 contracts and worked your way up to adding another contract every month, that means you have to earn $2,000 per contract to add another contract. So today, with 14 contracts on, we earned $2,000 per contract, quitting when we get the goal for the day. Right? We still have a whole week left to add on to that gain. And hopefully we'll exceed last month's gains. We do have one more contract that we've been working with all month, so it should exceed last month's gains by $4,000 probably. Not unless it was last month's gains. But we need to get to $28,000, $2,000 per contract. Now the 24/20 blueprint began last year in January with one contract, and I added one contract per month all the way up to now. So if you quit trading when you get your goal for the day, so far this year you worked 15.66 hours and you average $4,442 per hour. That's starting out with 13 contracts, going to 14, averaging $4,442 per hour so far in the year. Okay, let's get into, this ready to go before I forget. Okay, and we'll get into the actual trades. So over here on not crude, this is gold. Sorry, over here on gold today, we had, I thought we had 4 trades. I guess we just had 3. So we had, I got to fix the trade count in the spreadsheet. I'm going to do that right now. I don't have the trade count correct in there. We have more than 15 trades. We have 15, 20, 1, 2, 3, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 27 trades this morning. That's bad. It doesn't change any of the numbers down below. It just changes these net numbers right in here. Okay, the net numbers with one contract. Yeah, so the gold. We had one long trade right here. We started out with one long trade there. We got 5 ticks profit on that. And then we had a short trade here. We picked up 10 ticks profit on that. And then we had a break-even trade right here. We got no profit on that. During the break, there was one more short trade right in here that looks like it gave about 6 or 8 ticks in profit. And that was it, enough to get your stop to break even. That was gold today. I mean, this is the whole day in gold right here. So we shouldn't really have a lot of action in gold. And I'm happy that we're able to get something out of it. The Russell today, we did have 5 trades in the Russell. Let's go back and get to all of them. I don't know why I have that. I guess I have it half working somewhere else. Just delete it. There. We went right by it. Here we go. All right, so our first trade on the Russell was right here. Right, we missed this blue arrow. We took this green arrow here, and I didn't notice it was going into the weekly trading zone. We took 2 ticks on the first one, 2 ticks on the second one, 2 ticks on the third one, and then finally on the fourth one, we gained a little more. We went from +6 to +15, so we picked up 9 ticks on this one, and then went from 15 to 17, so only 2 ticks more on that one. And it looks like that's all we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all we got. There were some more blue arrows in here, but we did go into the lesson plan. So missed some nice blue arrows through here. The green arrow was nice too. And that was it. We didn't have any more blue arrows after the morning session. Green arrows were doing okay. But if you're only trading the blue, then we didn't have any there for you. Okay. Now let me get the question box out. I didn't see any questions coming in, but there it is. All right, so on the ES now, on the ES. On the ES right here, we have a long opportunity. Right here was our first trade. We picked up 4 ticks on that. And then our next one was over here. We picked up 1 tick on that. So that got us to +5 on the ES, and that was it. This is kind of where we got the goal for the day. I didn't realize when we closed out that trade, we closed out a gold trade at the same time, or a Russell trade at the same time. And the Russell trade only had a couple of ticks, but that was enough to give us the goal for the day. And so we closed out both of those trades at the same time. And I ended up with $100 per contract, getting the goal with the Russell trade, and then added on another $50 per contract with this one right here. We ended up with a break-even trade on that, and that was it. During the break, there were no blue arrow trades here during the break. Not much happening on the ES as far as blue arrow goes today. This was a valid trade right here. This is the equivalent of a blue arrow trade. It was a ribbon trade. It just didn't give you the blue arrow because it didn't come out of the oversold. All right, but it was a nice trade right there. And that was it for the ES. Now the NQ. Let's get into the NQ here. All right, see the NQ's color is a lot richer here because they have multiple contexts on. They're overriding each other in the colors. One is giving us these, the table with the targets in it, and the other one, I'll go back to the beginning here on the NQ. And we had right here our very first trade on the NQ. We had a slow start on the NQ as well. And 4 ticks in profit there. And we missed the blue arrow, missed the blue arrow, missed the blue arrow. Had some sideways action, more sideways action, had a break even, another break even. Missed the blue arrow, missed the blue arrow. Then we stopped out right here. We went to -16 there. Then we had 30 tick gain right there, went to +14. Then we stopped out again right there, went to -6. And then the next trade that I had, I believe we went into the lesson plan, and I had one big trade that came up somewhere in here. We had a break even there. And this one right here, I had a big trade on that one. We went from -6 to 38. So I had like a 40, 38, 40, 46 tick trade right there, something like that. It was a big trade. My target wasn't there. The thing kind of busted when I put it on. My strategy didn't work right. And so it didn't stop me out, and it didn't have a target either. But we ended up getting a good 40+ tick trade on that. And then the next one, we had just a little bit more. We had 4 ticks on the next one. And another break even, and another break even. And then we stopped out on this one, put us down to 22. And that is where we ended it for the morning session. Didn't do the blue arrow here. And during the break, you had one blue arrow here that worked out if you stuck with it. A blue arrow here that would have stopped you out. A blue arrow here that would have given it right back. And this blue arrow would have stopped you out. And that would have been it. So it wasn't really easy trading today. The markets were all over the place. We did have a high impact news event, but it was at 9:45. We don't have any high impact news tomorrow, so we're done with news for the week pretty much. If I go in here to Forex Factory, go in here and just check it out. Tomorrow we have nothing, and oops, and then we'll go to Monday. Monday we have new home sales coming out. We had existing home sales came out either today or yesterday, came out better than expected. Tuesday we have consumer confidence coming out, so we do have some news coming out next week. Wednesday we have preliminary GDP. Yeah, we have a lot of news coming out next week. Okay, and then on Friday next week, I was wondering if they're gonna do the employment rate on Friday or not, because it's the first day of the new month. But I guess they're gonna push it off for a week until probably the 8th, I imagine, right? Yeah, right here, the unemployment rate and all that stuff. Okay, so we do have a bunch of news next week, but we're pretty much on it this week. Anyway, let me start the live stream. It is time for that right now. Okay, here it is. I'll start the live stream up, and we'll just go here to our charts. All right, so the live stream has just begun, and right now we're coming off a higher swing in here on the NQ. And we're higher swing over here on the ES and on the Russell. So we have potential trades all over the place right here. We need an up close here on the Russell from 18.2. We're going to have a buy stop at 19 on that. And that buy stop is moving down to 18.8. 17.9 plus 8 would be 18.7 now. Buy stop on the Russell. There it is. All right, this is actually a trade over here on the gold too. the blue bar trade over there on the gold. The Russell is the bottom, still at 0.7. Okay, so that's going to go down now. 0.7 plus 8. We might not end up with a trade here. I'm going to cancel the buy stop limit on this, and we may still have a trade. It depends how far down it goes. If it pulls up out of here, it might give us a green arrow. Long trade be 17.6 up to 18.4. Possibly. Now over here on the NQ, we have a direction change. We need to hit the ribbon to give a long trade. The ES has already done what it should do. And the gold is trying to push out of the weekly trading zone right here. Okay, so the low on this is now down here at 17.6. So we're still looking at 18.4 for nope, now that's changed. So we're not going to have a trade. Okay, on the NQ now, we're down to the ribbon. It's slingshot down there. Down to the ribbon, we have 4 points higher than 9. So we'd be buying 12 and a quarter. 12 and a quarter is what we'd be buying on that. Okay. Now it's down to 8, so we'd be buying 12. I'll bring it down over and show it to you. Here it is. And there it is. All right. So 8 ticks in profit. The stop goes to break even. I think we just hit 8 ticks, didn't we? There. Now we did. Okay. So 8 ticks in profit. The stop goes to break even. And we have a 30-tick target right up above the high of the day right there. Now, these are all-time highs right now, I believe. I'm not sure how much we pulled back today, but I know at one point today we had all-time highs on the ES and the NQ. All right, I'm just going to lock in a little bit of profit on this, but what it should do is get up above the prior swing high, which is the high of the day, and give us all 30 ticks on this. Now, in yesterday's lesson plan, those of you guys that were in yesterday's lesson plan, we did leg lengths. So if you're to take a leg length from this piece right here, okay, from right here, this is your leg length. So bring that over here. That leg length would get us up above the high of the day, up above the prior swing high, up above this target right here. Okay, if it peters out right here, then you have a rounding top, and we'll make some money on it. But see this number right here? It wants to go above that number. So up above 18 is where it wants to go. Now, there's a chance it could stop right here. This is the high of the day. So there's a chance it could roll down right here for a little while, but I think it's going to go up above 18 right now. See that number right there? It's trying to get to it. And that was part of today's lesson plan, if you guys were focused in today's lesson plan. When I was talking about that, I know I didn't go into it in a lot of detail today, but if you guys were in there today, I felt like I was not as helpful with the lesson plan as I normally am today. I don't know why, but so there we just got up through the 18 now. So I'm going to lock in 20 ticks on this. That's 20 ticks right there. So get 20 or we're going to get 30. Now the swing, we've got 20. Getting up above to this level right here would have given us about probably 9 points. Okay, but we got out with 20 ticks. That's fine. I'm happy taking 5 points at any time of the day. Now, the live stream, let me go back there and see if anybody's watching the live stream, anybody has any questions. If anybody wants to see anything other than futures, all you have to do is tell me. Okay, just let me know. And for those of you guys that are watching the live stream that haven't seen this yet, this is a new feature we're going to make available to Passport guys. Anybody that's got a passport will have access to that. Basically, it's giving you information about stuff that's already happened, giving you good target information ahead of time. So you can, down here, you can put labels on the pivots. So it does all that for you, goes back and looks at all that for you. You can put lines on the charts like this. Now it triggers off of the blue arrows. Okay, it triggers off the blue arrows. So it looks left. After you get a blue arrow, it looks left and it'll give you that one. And the next level up above that is 2175. The next level above that is 26. The next one above that is that, and then that. So this was not all-time highs right here, I don't think. Because it's going back and finding these other pivots that are above these pivots right here. All right, that's what it's finding for you. So it's giving you a lot of good information. This is really good if you want to put it on like a 30-minute chart. But you're not going to get too many blue arrows on a 30-minute chart. It triggers off the blue arrows. Okay, you don't get too many blue arrows on a 30-minute chart. The last one was down here. That's why it's showing the short targets. Okay. That is a new feature that I am going to make available probably tonight, and I can talk about it in the partners meeting tonight. All right. So if you're not a passport guy, if you're a partner, you're not a passport guy, if you do an upgrade, you can get access to that. If you're considering becoming a partner, then this is just one feature that you will get. Additional feature that you will get. And let's see, right through here, we needed to put in a higher swing here. We just barely put in the higher swing. Just barely put in the higher swing. We didn't get up to this, to the leg length, but we didn't finish the leg length. So this is counting right here. We could take another long trade right here if you wanted to. You could take another long right in there. Anticipating that it's going to finish this leg length right here, right now. Okay. That is what you could do in here if you wanted to. This right here, let me show you what I mean. We didn't get an arrow because it didn't come out of the oversold. But right here, the black line was still in the green. So that makes this a valid trade from right here at 1525. Okay. Here, I'm in at 1575. So I can finally bump my stop to break even on that. And it should get up here to 23.25. My target happens to be right up there. That's 30 ticks. My target happens to be right up there. So we'll lock in 8 ticks on this. We got 20 on the last one. I'm locking in 8 on this. Now it says the target is 19.25. The one after that is 21.75. So that's right here. And the one after that is 26. That's beyond my 30 tick target right there. So this number right here wants to go through that. It just did. It wants to push up from here, I think. There it goes. Okay, so we're going to lock in another 20 ticks right there. And we should get all 30 right here. It should go through that. There it goes. So right through it. Right. And what was the next target level up? It was 26. 26. So it's almost gotten up there. It didn't print a line there. I'm still working on the lines. Still working the lines out. But, I think when I switch time frames, you know, from one back to another, it messes up the lines. Labels are always right, but the lines are a little harder to put in the right place. All right. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Does anybody want to see any of the symbols? Does anybody want to see anything else? I'm happy to just keep trading futures. We're making money on it. So if we're up 50 ticks in this session, that's $250 a contract. I have 14 contracts on. So we'll do the math for you. 250 times 14. We're up $3,500 in the last 10 minutes. We did put in a higher swing. We did get to this swing high now. Because we got to this swing high, we got to start it over again. All right. Go to the next pivot, which happens to be right there. We'll bounce it off the bottom of this pivot once we get it, but we're coming out of the oversold and off the ribbon. So if you get an up close on this right now and it pulls it out of the oversold, it'll be a blue arrow. If you get an up close on this, even if it doesn't pull it out of the oversold, it's still a ribbon trade. It's still a valid trade. Okay, so now it's hit the black here now. So now it's going to be a green arrow trade. If it pulls it out of the oversold right now, it'd be a green arrow. So there's no guarantee that it's going to actually pull out of the oversold right here. We'd be buying 1750 right now. Right now, there's probably not going to be a trade. Okay, I had an order on, but I just canceled it. There's probably not going to be a trade here now. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to see any symbol other than the one that symbols other than the ones that we're looking at? I want to go look at these other symbols, Bitcoin and all that again, see what they're doing. Yeah, I clicked on that. There you go. All right. So this was the level that we had drawn in there. This is where it needs to go down and bounce off of, probably. That's the Mr. And we'll go to Mara. I'll try that one. Okay. and that came down and bounced off, and so we have bounced off the ribbon here, and so it put in the long targets up here where it should go up to 31.3, 32.74, 57.7. So it's kind of going way up here. Okay, so it should bounce here. Now we drew in this. We drew in. Let me crunch it up a little bit. Okay, I'll slide it over here. We drew in this triangle that we're in yesterday. I don't know how long it's going to take to get out of this triangle, but now that's given this blue arrow. Well, it hasn't given us blue arrow yet, but when this bar closes, if it's got a blue arrow here on the daily, then these are the numbers that it should be going to. Right? The first one is right here at 31.7, 31.3 here, something like that. Is it 31.3? It's right in here underneath there, I think. 31 point. Oh, wait a second. No, it's still got the short targets, right? This is going to be a blue arrow for it to give us those long targets. So you see how it's changing intra-bar right here. If that turns into a blue arrow long, then you're going to have long targets. But right now it's still working off these short targets, which would not have gotten in here. Would not have gotten those. Okay. So Bitcoin, let's look at this on a daily. All right, and this is working off of this blue arrow back here. That's what these numbers are, working off of that blue arrow. So it's got the 45, and then the next one up is 48, 240, and the one after that goes up and up and up. Okay. What we're anticipating here, we're anticipating it was going to get up to this level and pull back down here to the ribbon is what I was thinking. All right, pull back down here to this ribbon is what I suspect it's going to do. And that happens to be, it's going to look like an area of support. If you were to look left, this area right here would look like an area of support. There'd be buyers right there. Okay, using the same lines and the same logic, that would be an area of support that it would pull back down to. Okay, that's what Bitcoin's looking like to me. Let's see. We can. Nothing here. The ES almost has a trade here. It did give one here a few minutes ago. Well, actually quite a few minutes ago, a half hour ago. But it's pulling back down. It's almost got a trade. We're in the oversold. We don't actually need to hit the ribbon right here. This is a decent trade. If it gives an up close and gives a black arrow right here, that'll be a decent black arrow. I'd take that right now. So it's got a low of 83.25, so you'd be buying 85.25 on that. Buying 85.25 on that. Okay. And that is that. I feel like, okay, I did forget something. Here it is. Here it is. All right. So we're still looking for the up close on this. All right. Now the Russell has moved down, but it's changed direction, so it needs to bounce off the ribbon. The NQ already did bounce off the ribbon after the direction change. We could have a trade here. It could give us a black arrow right here. Now that's not going to be your best black arrow. I'd rather pull back just a little bit more and hit the ribbon. Okay. That's what I'm looking for on that. All right. It is now 1:15. 1:15. All right, so it did pull back right into the ribbon. Now that may end up disqualifying trades. Okay, let me bump the Bitcoin off right now. All right, so this right here is the black arrow that I was talking about. I'm going to try to put the trade on right there at the swing high, and we just got filled on that. Now, as far as reading the DOM goes, it's actually looking like it's going to pull back more than it's going to go up as far as reading the DOM goes. But I think once we start moving up, you're going to see some numbers up here on the upside that it's trying to get up to. All right, what we should see here is a move up to the price swing high up here at 88.50, which happens to be the high of the day. Okay. After 4 ticks in profit, we're going to bump the stop to break even. Now, so far, we're not seeing the numbers up here that I thought we were going to see. But after 4 ticks in profit, we bump the stop to break even. All right, we don't have that yet, but we should have it here in a minute or two. You see the Russell and the NQ both start to move down, but the NQ is about ready to go back up. There's 4 ticks in profit, so we're going to bump that stop to break even. And this is the number up here that I was thinking we're going to get up to. Okay, I was thinking we're going to get some numbers up there. And the prior swing high is actually beyond that number. So I'm just going to lock in 1 tick on this because it would be trading cost money. There we go. So we made a little money on that. We're not going to take this Russell going down into the weekly trading zone. We really want that to pull back up and test the ribbon. So yesterday we had a little bit of a rough time. Today, 3 trades, 3 wins. Yesterday, I think we had 3 trades and 3 stop outs. So some days, most days, it's like are like today. But every now and then, 8 days like yesterday. Every now and then. This should put in a higher swing right now. Okay. I mean, we ended the day positive yesterday. It was just in here, this little half-hour period in here yesterday didn't work out so well. I haven't said this yet, I don't think. If you like what you see and you want to have access to the indicators, go to TradingView.com, click on this button right here, the purple button. There is no credit card required for the trial. Now, whether you use the trial for futures, whether you attend the morning session with us, the only way you're going to get access to the indicators is to sign up for the free trial. Okay, that is the only way you're going to get access to the indicators. Okay, and so that is going to be it. We're going to bump this back down, and yeah, there's no credit card required for the trial. It's a really simple form to fill out. That's what I was going to show you. The registration form. This is what it looks like. All we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. And down here, give us a TradingView login ID, username or login ID. Give us that so we can enable the indicator set for you. Okay. That's all you have to do to take the free trial. That is all that you need to do. And so none of the markets are giving us anything right now. You see how the NQ is changing directions right here. Just flopped a little bit right there, starting to change directions. I don't want to trade that right now. The ES should put in a higher swing. The Russell should have pulled back and bounced off the ribbon, but it didn't. Gold should have kept going up, but it didn't. And it's starting to tank over there. Where is my gold? Here it is. All right. So all right. On the gold right now, we are looking to pull back here and bounce off the ribbon. Over here on the Russell, we need that to pull back up and bounce off the ribbon there. The ES needs to put in a higher swing. We took this trade here, so it's got to put in a higher swing from here before we can take another trade. This is just about a trade here on the NQ. It's kind of ugly the way it came together. I don't really like it. I hope it closes down and not up. Good, it did. So now it's not going to be a very good looking thing. If it does give you a green arrow right here, the outer band is going to be pretty flat. And it might actually disqualify itself with the red going down into the black line right there. Either way. It didn't do that. And it should have given a green arrow here. If it didn't do that, it should have given you a green arrow. But I think it actually didn't give you the green arrow because the outer bands got so flat and it went right into a no trade zone. That's what it's for you. Okay, so we're just waiting here, guys. It's 1:22. We have about 8 minutes left in this session. Okay, and let me see who's out here right now. Tony, Stephen, Don, you would ask me about the ES earlier, and then you left before I could answer you. Right, so I'll go to the ES for you on the bigger picture. Okay, you were saying, what do I think it's going to do earlier? Now, let me back this out. Okay, and let's go to a daily. Okay, all-time highs, right? So, what can you make of this? You wonder. What should we make of this? Well, I mean, we have the weekly trading zone up here. That's the highest weekly trading zone of the week. Looking at the leg lengths that we have, the latest leg lengths that we have, and just in the past weeks, going a week at a time, right now it's suggesting that it's going to go, and we can do any one of these right here to get the starting point. Let's just use this one right here. It's suggesting this, and then this would be the new spot right here. So it's suggesting that it's going to get up to here. Right there. And that number is 5131. That's what it's suggesting. And the weekly trading zone above that is 5143. So it's, it's 12 points difference there. But that's what it's suggesting it's going to do there. Now, if you take it a step further and you look at the bigger legs, you're looking at, well, let me move this down. You're looking at something like this from here to here. Okay, like that. That's right where we are right now. You see, right where we are right now. So that works out perfectly to put us there. And if we draw this on, where we are right now, and that would make this the new starting point right here. Okay. And I don't know why I have this line way up here, but I do. But we're talking like a month right there. Okay. Up there. Because that's this is a daily chart. And from here to here, it was November 22nd, October 27th to November 22nd. So yeah, we're talking like a month in time. Okay. This is a short term. This is probably in a week. Could be today. Could be tomorrow. But shortly, this is what it's looking like on the upside. And then that's within a month. That's the next level up. That's what I'd be thinking. The fact that we got up to exactly this level right here, which is a great spot for it to pull back from. If it goes through a little bit and gets up to here, I would think that'd be a great spot for it to pull back from, probably over the weekend, and then give another push up. Because I think this is gonna drag out, getting up to here. We have a lot of news next week, though. So, I mean, this could actually happen faster than you think. All the news we have next week. And they're not going to, nothing is going to be coming out that is, no matter how negative things look, it's all going to end up with a positive spin as we get closer to the elections. They don't want these markets going down as we get closer to the elections. So, that's my take on it. Okay. Now, what does that look like in here? If we put this thing on and maybe add my scripts. I renamed it in here. I thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Okay, we'll put it on right there. And now, because it runs out of place, it runs out of places to go on the upside, because it doesn't have anything to look at on the left side. It just runs out of places to go on the upside. I'm going to actually take that off, because this, if I go to a daily chart, it's going to work off of the blue arrows. And so it's not going to be able to give you any information, really. That's the problem here. We don't have anything. When you go into the left side, you don't have anything to go and find pivots at. That's why it's not giving you anything in there. That's why it wasn't doing it earlier today. I guess I didn't account for their going into all-time highs and not having any pivots. I guess if you don't have any pivots, it's going to give you that little thing right there. So as far as this tool goes, you can't really use it on this. So we'll go back to a 7 range here in our normal world. And bring that down. The legs work on sell-offs. Yeah, the legs work on sell-offs too. What I look at on sell-offs is, let me just go back and show you what I look for on that. Now, on the sell-off, as it moves up and it starts to sell off, this is going to continue moving up. So the sell-off should drop down to, let me blow this up some so you can see a little better. Stretch it out if I can. Oops, let's crunch it up. There. So I would expect when it does sell off, it'll sell off right into this area right here. Remember what this was a minute ago? This was this line right here. So if it gets up above it, it should come back down, and this should act as a support level. So if I make this a red thing, once it gets up to here, it'll probably sell off to here is what I'm thinking, and then make the next push up. But this will be the bottom that it goes off of. That's what I'm thinking. So the leg work on sell-offs too, but you're not taking a whole leg down. You're taking half of the leg down is the way that it usually works on the sell-offs. Okay. All right. Well, price action analysis by me. We're in the live stream right now, so all this is getting recorded in the live stream too. So anybody that's watching the live stream, get my opinion on all that. As far as the trades go in here, we had three good trades in here so far, and this is actually out of trade here again on the NQ. The NQ is trying to get up to 80.24 right here, 80.24 minimum, and it should go through that and continue up, I would think, up here, because it failed to turn down right here. It failed to turn down and move down. And 80.24 was the first number that I was seeing in the DOM, and as it moves up, we'll see some more numbers in here. It hasn't gone 8 ticks into profit yet for me there. Now it's okay. Now it has. I'll just lock in 4 ticks on this, and again, we should go through the swing high. It took me out with 4. Okay, so if it stops going up here, then you have a rounding top, and it'll turn down for a little while. All right. See, this is a pivot. This is a swing high. So if it does not put in another swing high right here, you have a rounding top, and it'll go down for a little while. I think ultimately it's going to end up going up, though. Okay. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for me. I want to come over here and show you one more time how to take the free trial. If you haven't taken a free trial, go here to mytradingIQ.com. Click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the free trial. No credit card required for the free trial. Click on that. It's going to bring you to this registration page. Just fill it out. Gives your name, email, phone number. Down here at the bottom, gives you TradingView, login ID, username / login ID. Give us that so we can enable the indicator set for you. All right. If you like what you see with the indicators and you want to have access to it, you need to sign up for the trial. That's the only way you get access to them. All right. That is it. With that, we can pass back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, and Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yes, sir. Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 36 minutes and 7 trades to get to $1,400. $1,400.
Good job.
Stop
All right,
the
guys, we'll pick
noise.
up where we left off on gold. And here's where we opened last night. Got above the BBC. Tried to get through that weekly zone. These are 30-minute candles. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Finally, on the 5th attempt, we got through. We pulled right back to it. What was resistance for all this time? Support. Nothing new. And then we get a run up to the long target. And we take out the previous day's high. That looks like the high of the day because we've rolled over, come back down to the zone, which, as you recall, was resistance here. Now look for 1, 2, 3, 4 30-minute candles or 2 hours. It was support until proven otherwise, which comes as no surprise with red and falling overhead. And it takes us right down to the target and the zone. Zone is 2032/33. We hit the zone and we bounce. When the market finds support, it will always go look for resistance. When it finds resistance, it will go look for support. Support will send it looking for resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. It's been in place since the inception of the markets. It will remain in place till the markets cease to exist. Why? That's how markets work. Silver, here's the open last night. We got above the BBC, red and falling turn to blue and climbing, and we get a leg that takes us just shy of the zone. Now you only need 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. So we get our leg, a retracement. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. And then we get a run. Takes us all the way through the long target, but we fail to take out previous 2 days high. Okay, that's a sign of weakness. So the second price got back below this zone right here, and the BBC should have been anticipating this. We hit the target, took out yesterday's low, but only by a little bit. Okay, and that only by a little bit should always be a cautionary tale. So we've got some wide-ranging consolidation at the short target. The step line has crossed red and falling. Red and falling is directly below price, so now it's become support. See, it was your friend on the way down. On the way up, you had price, step line, blue and climbing. On the way down, you had price, step line, red and falling. Okay. But now the dynamic has changed. Once that step line curls under price, it's on its way to becoming blue and climbing, which is bullish. And so what do we expect from this point? A retracement back to the BBC. At least an attempt of a retracement back to the BBC. Full targets hit. And last but not least, the euro. So we opened last night, and in pretty short order, we hit the target. Pull back to the zone and the BBC, which support. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Even when it spikes it. See, by the time the 30-minute candle closed, back above the zone. Okay. So, take another trip up to the long target. Then we get about 3/4 of the way up to the highest weekly trading zone this week for the euro. Now this all came up. Most of this bullish act, these big, this is the London Open. Okay. Unusual to see the London open. Now, this is the euro, but this is our 9:30 a.m. Eastern candle on Wall Street opens. This is the equivalent in London. Okay, right here, 3 a.m. Eastern. So we get a retracement to the BBC, the pullback holds, but we now have red and falling overhead, which is resistance. So that walks us down through the BBC, down through the long target, to the zone, get below the, catch a little bounce, and then continue the move down until we get just above yesterday's low. Now, buyers that missed this big move, they don't want to miss it again, so they're going to come in early. Should anticipate that. Number one, you're approaching an area of support, which is 8095/8100, right? Again, buyers that missed that huge move are hoping for another similar move. However, this move was above the BBC. This move is below the BBC. So price has to overcome this zone, which it hasn't done yet. It's been trying for an hour and a half. Then it's got resistance at the BBC, and then potential resistance right here at the bearish cross. If it clears all that, then there's potential resistance right here. And then, of course, up here. That's the highest zone for the week. Now, you see how the step line crossed, price is pulling back to the BBC, and see how we hooked under? We got directly below price, and red and falling is now turned to blue and climbing. So that's going to take us to the BBC. The question is what happens there. If buyers keep the pressure on, do not underestimate the potential for resistance right here. Okay? Very important. Other traders aren't going to see it, but you just did. So as we wrap things up, we get to push this a little higher. 50, 93.50. This is not going to end well. Get it. How close can we get it? Looks like about 92. Close enough for the daily chart. Okay. You can call it irrational exuberance. You can call it anything you want. You can call it a manipulated market. Entirely up to you. We're approaching the 62% fib extension. Is that where the party comes to an end? I don't know. I don't have crystal balls. But I do know that the institutional buyers have been buying all day. Selling short, not your friend. Okay? Let the chart in front of you tell you what to do. You need to learn to be able to look at a chart. Any chart, any market, any time frame. And with this indicator set, instinctively know what the next high probability move is. And from here, we have to anticipate that we're going to see that 62% fib extension. Okay? We're in uncharted territory here. This was the previous all-time swing high. And what do? Retraced back to the BBC. When we challenged it at the 50% fib extension, pulled back to the BBC. Now we're still climbing. And there's so many people who just won't be able to resist. Now we're at 50.94. Get it there? Probably not. Yep, 94.5. Yep, that should suffice. So far, no sign of buyers taking their foot off the pedal. 50.94 1/4. So we got within a tick. But the way the market's moving, that may change quickly. Okay, keep this number in mind, 51.18. Bigger picture, keep this number in mind, 53.76. Okay. To become a lifetime member, no recurring fees, no upsells, and no nonsense. Go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. 9 out of 10 new traders will fail because they don't have anyone to teach them how to do the job. They buy indicator sets and oscillators and holy grails and magic potions. And you know the deal. Okay. Cherry pick videos, instructional PDFs. The list goes on. The only secret to being consistently profitable in the market is to learn how to trade. So all those folks selling those shovels and picks, are they also offering to teach you how to use the tools? Round the clock, live in real time, 2 hours a day, unlimited one-on-one private mentoring? Do their tools work across all markets and all time frames? Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETFs? Probably not. As a passport holder, you not only have all of that, a living, breathing teacher, 2 hours every trading day, but you also get the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and you're able to attend tonight's members-only workshop at 8 p.m. Eastern. Once you become a passport holder, you also get the keys to the vault, where all of the previous members-only workshops are archived. And you get the key to all the other private members-only Telegram channels, of which there are quite a few. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. No recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense, ever. And that's a pretty good deal. Good word for the day. Last couple days we've been talking about keeping your hope alive. Talked about that for 2 days. Today we're going to switch it up, and I'm going to encourage you to not burn out. Proverbs 20 verse 6. Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find? Proverbs 20 verse 6. Now this is part 1. Pastor writes about his experience with burnout. Children had gone to school, wife was off to work, and he did something he'd never done before. Turned the phone down, put a note on the door, and went back to bed. He was burned out. Within 2 months, he had resigned his ministry. 3 out of 4 pastors report anger, depression, fear, and alienation. Reasons include a disparity between idealistic expectations and hard reality, lack of boundaries, workaholism, feelings of incompetence, conflict between being a leader and being a servant at the same time, playing it safe to avoid upsetting powerful parishioners, and loneliness. Pastors are less likely to have a close friend than almost anybody. Ministering in your own strength virtually guarantees you will end up as another statistic. Paul was able to go the distance and finish strong because he depended on God to give him the needed strength. One Bible teacher says avoiding burnout means A, having a definite call on your life and a strong relationship with Jesus. B, seeking his vision and being willing to do whatever he asks. C, never losing sight of the people behind the word. D, never taking your position for granted. E, respecting the guy above you and submitting willingly to authority. F, knowing that you're fulfilling God's will and your reward is laid up in heaven. G, setting boundaries while having a servant's heart. And H, never being too big to do small things or too small to do big things. Practice these principles and you won't burn out. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you tonight in the workshop and at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.